So the Chicago Bears apparently have hired a new offensive coordinator that didn't take them all of that long. Gone are the days of gutless gutsy. Put him up. Put him up. I'm the offensive coordinator. I got courage. I'm going to do it. They never see it coming. Been working on it for months. First and 10, halfback dive. Second and 10, halfback dive. Third and 9, wide receiver screen. Punt. Admit it, folks. Deep down, you're going to miss that. Because it was one of the things you could look forward to that was associated with Bears football. Well, again, gone are the days of Luke Getsy, and the new offensive coordinator at the helm for the Chicago Bears in 2024 is none other than Shane Waldron. You heard me right, Shane Waldron. And as the news dropped today, admittedly my reaction was kind of, meh. I mean, I feel that is a measured, rational, logical response to this hiring. I fully acknowledge that the Bears situation for any offensive coordinator has a certain level of risk to it. Because you're potentially talking about a lame duck head coach, potentially lame duck general manager, but at least potentially a lame duck head coach. Stability my ass if the Bears don't make the playoffs in 2024. Eberflus has to be fired. There could not be a single excuse justified his return in 2025 at that point. So you're an offensive coordinator coming into potentially a lame duck situation where you're either going to have to work with a very flawed passer going into his fourth year in Justin Fields, or working with a rookie quarterback, which has its own pros and certainly has its own cons. You're coming into a situation where you're just with an organization that doesn't prioritize offensive football, frankly. That's Bears football! So it doesn't seem like, on the surface, to be the most exciting and compelling of coordinator openings on the market. So the Bears probably did about the best that they could, considering the circumstance and situation that they largely, by the way, put themselves into by hiring a guy that has 3 years, 3 relevant, recent, current years between 2021 and 2023 of being an offensive coordinator at the NFL level. And that is, of course, 44-year-old Shane Waldron, who most recently was the offensive coordinator in Seattle for the Seahawks from 2021 to 2023. So yeah, like you look at this initially and you say, okay, like what this organization would typically do is hire inexperienced people into this position. They're hiring with somebody with a few years of play calling experience and legit play calling experience. You're not saying, oh, he was the quarterback's coach or he was the offensive coordinator name only, but the head coach was an offensive-minded guy and he was actually the play caller, the shot caller. No, Waldron was the actual play caller the last 3 years. So he legit has that on his resume. For the Bears, they're hiring somebody that has a decent amount of experience relative to the other candidates. There are certainly some compelling thoughts here, especially when you say, hey, look at the work he did with Russell Wilson for a tad in 2021 when Russ was healthy. He was playing okay, solid football actually. And then look at the work he did the last 2 years with Geno Smith. You know, for a Bears organization that is so starved to have competent quarterback play, you've at least seen Waldron work with other quarterbacks and help them be competent or more than competent. So it's not a situation where they've hired a total bum. So yeah. And I'll say, like, obviously, better than Luke Getsy. However, that can't be the measuring stick because that places the bar so incredibly very low. He can't be the standard of saying, well, he's better than Getsy. Sure he is, but a lot of other guys would be too. That's really not saying shit. So that's why if you follow me on social media, you haven't really seen me tearing down this hiring, and I'm not going to. But you all will also notice, and you can probably sense it and feel it in my tone, right? Is I'm not exactly over the moon about this. Hell no, I'm not over the moon about this. And what really surprises me is, as I tweeted some stuff about this hiring today, was how many people just weren't getting the concept that I was pointing towards. I didn't feel like this was a hard concept. I really didn't. Like, it comes down to an important question with Shane Waldron. If he was so great as an offensive coordinator, why did the organization that he just spent the last 3 years as an offensive coordinator for, who, oh, by the way, also has a head coaching opening currently, let him walk and not even put him into consideration? Fresh start my ass. If he was truly that good, they would have found a way to keep him potentially as their head coach. So why didn't they? This should not be controversial. This is exactly the type of question you should be asking. Which to me is a major thing that leads me to kind of hedge a little bit and say, I don't know about this one. Because, I was talking about Shane Waldron as like a tier 2, tier 3 type of head coaching candidate for the Bears if they fired Eberflus. But it was a clear step down, or 2 steps down, depending on my mood at the time, from guys like Bobby Slowick and Ben Johnson and the like, right? Like, he was a clear step or 2 below. Because as much as you could say, well, he's been an offensive coordinator for 3 years, again, if he was so great at his job, why would the Seahawks just let him leave? And the answer is not, well, because they're looking for another head coach, and why would they keep the offensive coordinator? Again, it doesn't feel like it's that hard of a concept to grasp. The point I'm getting at is, if he was really that good at his job, then why wasn't he being considered for and potentially having a leg up on, an advantage in Seattle's head coaching search? Like that, last I checked, they haven't finished that search, and he's already settling for basically a lateral move. Now, I'm sure the Bears had to incentivize him somehow to come in, which meant he probably got a pretty decent payday for an offensive coordinator, because otherwise, why the hell would he want to come to a situation like Chicago? Really? But that's a really key question to ask. If he was so great, why would Seattle, who now needs a head coach, let him walk for nothing? That doesn't really make any sense, people. If he was so great as a play caller, why would the Seahawks, with Geno Smith the last 2 years playing at a solid level, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, this year's first-round pick Jackson Smith-Njigba, and 2 former second-round picks at running back, and Kenneth Walker the third and Zach Charbonnet, if he was so great, why was their offense so kind of I mean, that's what they were. They were middle of the road. Are we really going to point to talent being the problem there? Now, you say middle of the road offensively is certainly better than what you come to expect from Bears football. But again, the standard's got to be higher than that, right? There's a reason the Seahawks traded Russell Wilson when they did. There's a reason they're moving on from Pete Carroll as their head coach when they are. And there is absolutely a reason they are not keeping Shane Waldron in-house and making him their next head coach. We have to be honest about this, Bears fans. Stop wanting to smoke the hopium and be all dopey about every decision this dumb dick organization does. Go in eyes wide open and realistic. The reality is Waldron is meh. He's better than Getsy, and that doesn't say much. He's about the best you probably could have gotten, considering the situation that the Bears have. To those that are trying to sit there and draw conclusions about whether this means Justin Fields will be back or they'll draft a quarterback, even if you want to just believe in the Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams debate, which I don't entirely, because I don't know that Caleb Williams is QB1 in this upcoming draft. When you talk about that offense, it's a lot of timing, and That certainly is not a strength of Justin Fields' game. It's a huge weakness. And I'd question just how much of a strength that would even be in Caleb Williams' game. So, I don't know, right? But I would think, if anything, it would point to, if it leads you anywhere, and I don't know if it really can tell you that much, let's be clear. But if it did, it's probably a slight inclination towards replacing Fields and drafting a new quarterback. Because otherwise, why would a guy like Waldron want to come into this situation? If he was as highly coveted as an offensive coordinator as some people are making it out to be, why would he want to come to this spot? You cannot tell me with a serious face that it's because of Justin Fields. Give me a break. Give me a break. Let's be connected to reality for a moment, folks. So again, if he was so great, why would the Seahawks let him leave, and why would they not just promote him to be their head coach? It's a fundamental question to ask. If he was so great as a play caller, why wasn't the Seahawks offense better than mid the past 3 seasons? You can't blame talent, so what is it? Is it him abandoning the run? Is it him having moments where he just totally loses himself? Like, and another thing to ask yourself if you're a Bears fan and you're trying to assess this hiring. Look at Seahawks fans and their reactions today. You know, I was looking for a while. It's probably like 75%. Ha ha ha. Good luck with that, Chicago. Ha ha ha. Glad he's fucking gone. And 25%, supportive of Waldron. Now, that tells you something, right? Like, if a fan base is about 3/4 laughing at a move that your team makes, now that should make you worry a little bit about the move. I'm just saying. So again, no reason to really rant, ramble, and rave, because they could have certainly done worse here. And most of the other candidates they had on the list did not exactly inspire a ton of hope and confidence for me anyways. And the reality is, it just didn't fucking matter, because they're hiring for the wrong thing. They should be hiring for a head coach and filling out the staff afterwards. But they need an offensive defensive coordinator. They found an offensive coordinator with a few years of recent experience. It could be much worse. Now I've got to spend the next several months thinking of potential nicknames for Slick Waldron. No, I don't think Slick Waldron is going to work. We'll figure out something, I promise you. I don't know if it can live up to the gutless, gutsy, put him up legacy, but I'll do my damn best. I promise you that much. But yeah, like, I've seen a number of people that kind of are like, this is a solid hiring. Yeah, right? Like, it's about the best they could do. Be cautious of those that are pumping this up too much. Be cautious of those that are trying to make this seem like some great indication of one thing or another. It's just an indication of Ryan Poles did about the best he could do considering the situation he put his damn self in. It's not much more than that.